friends, this is Katerina from the Evolution of Stitches. On this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to knit this beautiful pattern. It's got a rich texture. This is the right side and this is the wrong side. It creates a different pattern. It's very easy, although it looks complicated. If you know how to knit and purl, then you can knit it. You can use it in many projects like hats, wraps, shawls and many others. If you use a luxurious yarn and bigger size needles than what is required, then you can create a beautiful airy shawl. So let me show you how to knit it. Let's go! For this tutorial I am going to use this acrylic yarn. The size of my needles is 10, which corresponds roughly to size 3. It's a bit bigger than size 3. I have already cast on the stitches, which must be a multiple of 3. Out of these stitches I am going to use 3 for my edges and the symmetry of the pattern. I have cast on 2 extra stitches which I'm going to drop. If you would like to know how I cast on in this way, please watch my tutorial. Now I'm ready to start knitting my first row. My first row is not going to be a repeat of the pattern, so what I'll do is first I'm going to slip the first stitch to my right needle because this is my edge, and now what I'm going to do is knit 1 and purl 2. 1, 2. Knit 1 and purl 2. 1, 2. Knit 1 and purl 2. And I will continue in this way until I get to the end of the row. Please meet me 2 stitches before the end of the row. I'm 2 stitches before the end of the row because I'm going to drop these 2. If you have knitted correctly, you've got a purl stitch. Now I'm going to knit 1 and this is going to be my edge stitch which I'm going to purl. And in this way I have finished knitting my first row. Now I'm ready to start the second row, which is the first row of the pattern. I'm ready to start the first row of my pattern. What I'm going to do is turn, and now here my first stitch is the stitch of the edge, so I'm just slipping it on the right needle, and now I'm starting to work my pattern. So this is a purl stitch which I'm going to purl on top, and now there are 2 knit stitches. These 2 knit stitches I am going to knit, but in this way. First I'm going to knit the second stitch, this one, so I'm inserting my needle onto the second stitch, knit it and pass it over the first stitch onto the right needle, and then I'm going to knit the second stitch, which was the first one. So I have knitted these 2 stitches. Now I'm going to continue in the same way. So again I am going to purl this stitch, and now there are 2 knit stitches. I am going to insert my needle into the second one, knit it, pass it over the first and knit the first one. It's as simple as this. So again, I'm going to purl the stitch. I'm placing the yarn behind my right needle. I am inserting my needle into this second stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop and pass it over the first stitch. And now I'm going to knit the first stitch as well. One purl stitch and these two knit stitches. So this is the repeat of the pattern. First you purl one stitch and then these two knit stitches you knit, but first you knit the second stitch and then the first stitch. So please knit your stitches until you get here and I will meet you then. So here I am again, 2 stitches before the end of the row. As I said, this is the first row of the repeat of the pattern. Here I have knitted these 2 stitches. Now I need to purl this one and I am going to purl the last one, which is the edge. And now I'm ready to turn and knit the second row of the pattern, which is also the last row, because as I said, this is a 2-row pattern. Now we are working on the wrong side of the pattern. What we need to do is, first I'm going to slip the stitch to my right needle. I'm going to knit the first stitch like this, and now there are 2 purl stitches here which I need to purl, but I need to purl them crossed. So first I'm going to knit the second one, so I'm purling it and passing it over the first stitch, and now I'm going to purl the first stitch. And actually this is the pattern. Now again I'm going to knit 1 stitch. As you can see, as we continue knitting, we create these horizontal columns, and this will help you to know what to knit. So here again I've got 2 purl stitches. Again I'm going to purl the second stitch first, and then I'm going to purl the first stitch. Again a knit stitch, and the working yarn is at the front. Now I'm going to insert my needle like this, yarn over, pull up a loop and taking it over the first stitch, and now the second stitch. And we continue in this way until we get to the end of the row, and in this way complete 1 repeat of the pattern. So please meet me there. So here I am again, 2 stitches before the end of the second row of the pattern. Now I'm going to knit this stitch and I'm going to purl the last one because it's my edge stitch. And now I'm ready to turn and start working the second repeat of the pattern, meaning that I'm going to slip this stitch on the right needle, I'm going to purl this stitch, and I'm going to knit these 2 stitches crossed. So I'm going to insert my needle onto the second stitch first, like this, knit it and pass it over the first one, and then knit the first one like this. And again I'm purling 1 stitch and knitting my 2 knit stitches crossed. Purl and cross the 2 knit stitches. So we continue in this way. If you would like to remember what to do, you can watch how we knitted the first row of the pattern. So please finish this row and I will meet you then. Here I am again. There are 2 more stitches to go. One of them is a purl stitch for the pattern and the other one is a purl stitch for the edge. And in this way I have finished the first row of the second repeat. Now I'm going to work on the wrong side of the pattern. What I'm going to do again is to slip this stitch onto the right needle. Here there is a knit stitch which I'm going to knit. And now I'm going to work these 2 purl stitches but crossed. So first I'm inserting my needle onto the second one purlwise and I'm purling it, and then I'm going to purl the first stitch. And now a knit stitch, and again I'm purling my 2 stitches crossed. Again here a knit stitch. Now here I'm going to purl this one and purl the other one, and I will continue in the same way until I finish this row. So I have knitted the second row of the second repeat of the pattern. Up to now I have knitted 5 rows, the first row and the 2 repeats. This is the right side of the pattern. As you can see, we create these, let's say, zigzag columns, and on the wrong side you can see that we have these horizontal knitted columns which are created. Please let me knit a few more rows and I will meet you then. So this is how the pattern looks like after a few more repeats. I think it's a very nice pattern and I hope that you liked my tutorial. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and a comment. I would love to read it. Please watch my other tutorials. I think you will find them interesting. I hope to see you in one of my next tutorials. Until then, bye, and always think positive. Bye.